Hello Vita, good morning. Your lecture continue on your last chapters on the face of it. Your next paragraph, dairy, it won't make my face change. Do you know? One day a woman went by me in the street. I was at a bus stop and she was with another woman and she looked at me and she said, whispered. Only I heard her. She said, look at that. That's terrible thing. That face only a mother could love. Mr. Lamb, so you believe everything you hear then? Daddy, it was cruel. Mr. Lamb, maybe not meant as such, just something said between them. Daddy, only I heard it. I heard Mr. Lamb, and is that the only thing you ever heard anyone say in your life? Daddy, oh no, I have heard a lot of things. Mr. Lamb, so now you keep your ears shut. Daddy, you are peculiar. You say peculiar things. You ask questions I don't understand. Mr. Lamb, I like to talk. Have a company. You don't have to answer questions. You don't have to stop here at all. The gate open, dairy. Yes, but Mr. Lamb, I have a hive of bees behind those trees over there. Some hear bees and they say bees buzzing. But when you listen to bees for a long while, they hum, and hum means sing. I hear them singing my bees. Daddy, but I like here. I came in because I liked it when I looked over the wall. Mr. Lamb, if you had seen me, you would not have come in. Daddy, no. Mr. Lamb, no. Whisper means to say something very slow. Peculiar means strange, unusual. And here means dumb, safe structure in which bees live. Daddy said that all this would not change his face. One day, as he was waiting at a bus stop, a woman passed by him. He heard her telling another woman that he had such a terrible face that only his mother could love him and no one else could. Mr. Lamb asked him, did he believe what he heard? Daddy stressed that he heard it. Mr. Lamb asked that, was this the only thing he had heard from someone? Daddy said that no, he had heard many other things. Mr. Lamb suggested him to shut his ears. He should ignore all this, and Daddy found Lamb's word strange and added that he couldn't understand this. Questions. Mr. Lamb said that he liked to talk and also liked the company of others. He also told him that there was no need to answer him, and as the gates were open, he could leave if he wanted to. Daddy did not leave and he seemed unsure it. Mr. Lamb said that there was a beehive in one of the trees and people consider the buzzing sound of the bees to be a noise, but for him, it was a song sung by the bees. Derry explained that he had liked the place from outside and so had entered the garden. Mr. Lamb questioned that would he have entered had he seen Mr. Lamb, to which Derry replied in the negative. Derry, it would have been trespassing. And Mr. Lamb, ah, that's not why. Daddy, I don't like being near people. Why they stare when I see them being afraid of me? Mr. Lamb, you could lock yourself up in a room and never leave it. There was a man who did that. He was afraid, you see, of everything in this world. A bus might run over him, a man might breathe deadly germs onto him, or a donkey might kick him to death. Lightning might strike him down, or he might love a girl and girl would leave him, and he might slip on a banana skin and fall, and people who saw him would laugh their heads off. So he went into this room, he locked the door and got into his bed and stayed there. Daddy, forever? Mr. Lamb, for a while. Derry then went. Mr. Lamb, a picture fell off the wall onto his head and killed him. Derry laughs a lot. Mr. Lamb, you see? Derry, what? You still say peculiar things, Mr. Lamb. Peculiar to some. Trespassing means enter without permission. Strike means hit. Derry said that if he would have entered his garden, even after knowing that he was there, it would have been without his permission. Mr. Lamb said that was not the real reason. Derry said that he did not like going near people as they got afraid of him and stared at him. Mr. Lamb suggested that he could lock himself in a room forever. He then narrated a story about the man who locked himself in his room as he was afraid of everything. The man thought that he would meet with an accident with a bus, he would catch infections from someone, a donkey would kick him to death, the lightning may hit him, he may die because the girl whom he loved may leave him, or he may even slip off a banana, or people would laugh at him in order to safeguard himself from all such incidents. He locked himself in his room. Derry surprisingly asked Mr. Lamb if he locked himself forever. He replied that no, he did so for a while. Derry asked him what happened next. Mr. Lamb replied that a picture fell on his head and he died. This made him laugh a lot. And he said that Mr. Lamb narrated strange talks. Mr. Lamb said that they were strange for someone people. Derry, oh, what do you do all day? Mr. Lamb, sit in the sun, read books. Ah, you thought it was an empty house, but inside it is full of books and other things full. Derry, what? There are not any curtains at the windows. Mr. Lamb, I am not fond of curtains. Shutting things out, shutting things in. I like the light and the darkness and the window open to hear the wind. Derry, yes, I like that. When it is raining, I like to hear it on the roof. Mr. Lamb, so you are not lost, are you? Not altogether. You do hear things, you listen. Derry, they talk about me downstairs when I am not there. What will he ever do? Or what is going to happen to him when we have gone? However, will he get on in this world looking like that? What that on his face? That's what they say. Mr. Lamb, Lord, boy, you have got two arms, two legs, eyes, and ears. You have got a tongue and brain. You will get on the way you want, like all the rest, and if you choose and set your mind to it, you could get on better than all the rest. Derry, how? Mr. Lamb, same way as I do. Derry asked what Mr. Lamb did all day. He replied that he sat in the sun reading books. He said that the house was full of books. Derry looked at the house and said that there were not any curtain on the windows. Mr. Lamb replied that he did not like curtains. He liked transparency, light, darkness, and the wind too. Derry added that he also liked all of them, and he also liked the sound of rain falling on the roof of the house. Mr. Lamb commented that Derry was present minded as he could hear. And Derry said that his family worried about him that What would he do in the future with a burned face? Mr. Lamb said that Daddy had everything: two arms, two legs, two eyes, two ears, etc. He wanted to make Daddy realize that he had so much which many other people were deprived of. He added that Derry could accomplish a lot if he determined to do so. Derry asked how was it possible, and Mr. Lamb replied that the same was as he did. Derry, do you have any friends? Mr. Lamb hundreds. Derry, what you live by yourself in that house? It is a big house too. Mr. Lamb, friends everywhere. People come in. Everybody knows me. The gates always open. Come and sit here and in front of the fire in winter. And kids come for apples and pears and the toffees and make toffees with honey. Anybody comes, so have you. Daddy, but I am not a friend. Mr. Lamb, certainly you are, so far as I am concerned. What have you done to make me think you are not? Daddy, you don't know me. You don't know where I come from or even what my name is. Mr. Lamb, why should that signify? Do I have to write all your particulars down and put them in a filling box? Before you can be a friend. Derry, I suppose not, no. Derry, you could tell me your name if you choose, and not if you don't. Derry, only it's Drake, but I hear that. Derry, if I am your friend, you don't have to be mine. I choose that. Mr. Lance, certainly, definitely, Derry, I might never come here again. You might never see me again, and then I couldn't still be a friend. Mr. Lamb, why not? And Derry, how could I? You pass people in the street and you might even speak to them, but you never see them again. It doesn't mean they are friends. Derry asked if Mr. Lamb had any friends, and he replied that he had few hundred of them. Derry further said that still he lived alone in such a big house, and Mr. Lamb said that everyone was his friend. Many people visited the garden. The gate remained open. They sat there by the fire in winter. Kids came to pick apples and pears and take the honey toffees made by him. And Derry said that he was not a friend of Mr. Lamb. He said that Derry was a friend because he had not done any such thing that should cease their friendship. Derry said that they did not know each other well to become our friends. Mr. Lamb did not consider that to be important. He did not need Derry particulars before becoming friends with him, and Mr. Lamb said that if he wished, he could tell him his name. Derry replied that his name was Drake, but he disliked it and wanted to be called Derry. Instead, he added that he might not visit the place in future, and then they would not remain friends anymore. And Mr. Lamb asked the reason, and Derry replied that one crosses many people while walking down the street, might speak to a few of them and never see them again. This did not mean that they had become friends. Mr. Lamb doesn't mean they are enemies either, does it? There is no, they are just nothing people, that's all. Mr. Lamb, people are never just nothing, never. There are some people I hate. Mr. Lamb, do that's do you more harm than any bottle of acid. Acid only burn your face. Daddy, only. Mr. Lamb, like a bomb, only blew up my leg. There is worse things can happen. You can burn yourself or your sight. Derry, after I did come home, one person said he did have been better off. He would have been better off stopping in there in the hospital. He would be better off with others like him. See things blind people only ought to be with other blind people and idiot boys with idiot boys. Mr. Lamb and people with no legs altogether. Daddy, that's right. Mr. Lamb, what kind of world would that be? At least there would be nobody to stare at you because you are not like them. Mr. Lamb, so you think you are just the same as all the other people with burned faces? Just by what you look like, everything's different. Everything's the same, but everything is different itself. Derry, how do you make all that out? Mr. Lamb, watching, listening, thinking. Derry, I would like a place like this. A garden. I like a house with no curtain. Mr. Lamb, the gate always open. Derry, but this is not mine. Mr. Lamb, everything yours if you want it. What is mine is anybody. Derry, so I could come here again. Even if you were out, I could come here. Mr. Lamb, certainly you might find others here, of course. Derry, oh, Mr. Lamb, well, that need not stop you. You need not mind. Derry, it would stop them. They would mind me. When they saw me here, they look at my face and run. Mr. Lamb commented that it did not mean that strangers were enemies, if not friends. Derry said that they were nothing, just people. Mr. Lamb said that it could not be that people were nothing to each other. Derry said that there were some people whom he hated. Mr. Lamb replied that hatred would harm him more than the acid that had only affected his face. Derry commented that only his face. Mr. Lamb said that a bomb explosion blew up his leg, but there were worse things that could happen. One could burn himself up from the inside by the negative feelings. Derry said that when he had returned from the hospital, person had said that it was better if he had remained there with people like him. He added that people think all disabled people should remain together. At one place, Mr. Lamb added that this meant that people without legs should remain together and world would become imbalanced that way. Derry said that at least no one would stare at the other because all them were similar. Mr. Lamb asked Derry that he meant that he was like other people with burned faces just because they had similar appearance. He added that everything was different, although all things are the same. At they are different, Derry was confused. Mr. Lamb said that our habit of watching, listening, and thinking differently made us different from each other. Derry said that he liked Mr. Lamb's house and garden. He replied that Derry was always welcome there, and Derry said that the place was not his. And Mr. Lamb said that everything was his if he wanted to be. He added that all his possessions were for everyone. Derry asked if he could visit the place again, and Mr. Lamb replied that he could and he would find company too. He added that Derry need not mind other people, no one would stop him from entering the premises. Derry said that they probably would not like to enter the place upon seeing him. Maybe they would look at his face, get scared, and run away. Okay, thank you. Have a nice day.